Manitoba media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. The wait is over.
Let's get this thing started.
Welcome, one and all across the nation and around the world. I welcome you all to episode 125 of the In or Out Sports Debate. I'm your host, Drew Willingham, and this week we do not have a show that's featured on
Espen,
but we have a show that is ready to rock and roll because we have a returning panelist who is ready to rock and roll with me. He is one half of the Duval Dive podcast, as well as a member of the Black and Gold Banneret and a 16-time Vault of Fame inductee here on the In or Out Sports Debate. Give it up for my man, Mr. Kyle Nash. Welcome back, brother.
An honor, joy, and privilege to do the thing with you once again, Drew Willingham. Hey, listen, I don't have any other words but to say Thanksgiving may be coming, but the feast is here. We're about to tear into some fine quality showmanship and sports right here on In or Out.
Fine wine and dining here with Kyle Nash tonight. That's what I heard when he just gave his take.
I mean, it could be that, or if you're feeling frisky, we have plenty of that mead and high Belgian beer if you swing more with the hops. I'm okay. Listen, we're versatile here on this show.
I got to get over this cold first, but once I'm over the cold, I will dive into said adult beverages because it's always a good time when you can sample some great adult beverages, not on the air, but, you know, around the company of others. But
I have sampled the occasional frosty adult beverage while performing here on the show with you, Drew. And hey, I appreciate you for hosting this Playing Hurt, man. So let's get into the thing.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just more concerned about knocking the cup over because, you know, I'm like this. It's like playing the piano when you're producing this show. You got so many buttons, so many clicking action. I would knock that cup over. It's not happening right now. But the one thing that is happening is comments in the section of our chat as Ike is in the house saying, "What's up?" Along with our man all the way from Norway, Sick Diggy is here saying, "Good evening. To one and all, it's time for the shenanigans to break loose and open up the discussions." Absolutely. And all the way to Norway, we give you this.
What's that? What's that?
I would stick the tongue out, but I just can't. I got to save the energy for later.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to save the tongue for when you break your back saying, "Yo, Kang." I get it.
Oh, you know it's coming. And eventually with that, I will get you to do this. With all of those comments.
I love it so much.
Six says, "You know it's going to be a very ridiculous night with the evil vice principal on. Welcome back."
Sick Dicky, report to my office.
Look at that look on his face. "Come into my office right now," he says on episode 125 of this show. Sick, you are helping us out with the shenanigans, as he says 16 times, and he's got that Ric Flair drip.
Woo!
Yes. Oh, I wish I could do that right now. But the last time we had the promo for your last appearance, I did put the Ric Flair song.
You did do the woo. That is a fact.
I did. I should have put the John Cena with this one, though, because it was never seen. But I figured welcome home, because this is one of Kyle Nash's homes. The amount of times you've been here in 75 episodes. You know, I put 126 up there, which we're here for episode 125. So I'm about to fix that. It's another thing I got ahead of myself on. But right here for 16 times in the Ric Flair drip, we got a lot to cover on tonight's episode. Dante is even here, says, "What's up, everyone? How's everyone been doing?" Doing great, brother. Hope you're doing well out here in these streets. But with all that being said, it's now time to take it to round one and see what Kyle Nash has to say out here in these streams.
Round one.
And here with round one on episode 125, the Jaguars should force Travis Hunter to play one position upon return from injury. Kyle, how do you feel about this one? Are you in or are you out on this?
Oh, you're going right for my weight problems, treating me like a fat guy in dodgeball. I am out. You know, at this point, Drew Willingham, I would ask you, well, how many snaps does Travis Hunter have on this side of the ball or that side? It doesn't matter how many snaps Travis Hunter has on this side of the ball and all of that. I don't know. I know you didn't go with John Cena for the promo, jabroni, so I went a different direction. Can you smell what the student is cooking? Because apparently, if you pose this question, you jabroni, you don't understand what Travis was hunting throughout the season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. No, I get it. There's fools out there, including the great Mark Moses. Shout to him out in Melbourne here, who I'll be on the show every so often, talking Jacksonville Jaguars and UCF Knights. But he's one of these weirdos that has actually used the term bust to describe Travis Hunter, as stupid as it is to say that about any player in a rookie season, whether or not they are a bust. It is even dumber for Travis Hunter to get that label. Should the Jags force him to play one side of the ball, Drew Willingham, the fact of the matter is the reason why Travis Hunter getting put on the shelf in IR is because he was the best player at two different skill positions, arguably. With Brian Thomas Jr.'s struggles with catching the ball, which, by the way, last time I was on, I warned you about Parker Washington. Remember that?
You did.
On defense, regardless of the injuries, he was competing with Jordan Lewis for being the best corner. Until the Jacksonville Jaguars can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they have a player on either of those skill positions on either side of the ball, Travis Hunter should, in fact, be encouraged to play maximum snappage that he can. People are going to say he got hurt because of the load. No, that's not the case. Have you seen this guy? This dude bounces up from literally anything. It's just an unfortunate freak situation, and a dude at his age has the body type to be able to deal with all that. Now, if the Jags haven't accounted for their shortcomings in other positions in the upcoming draft or the draft after, we'll have a different conversation about this. If you're actually talking about putting Travis Hunter at a single position, it'll be in year 3 or year 4 for him, in my opinion, before we even have the conversation. Goodness knows they're going to want to do it before he signs a second contract, fiscally speaking. But in the meantime, going into year 2 in 2026, a foolhardy proposal without the Jags showing somebody who could play either wide receiver or defensive back better than Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter.
Interesting take, Kyle, and perfectly executed, which gave me enough time to fix my error. But yes, absolute talent. I love it. But even though I normally say 5 words in one, I'm not this time, because I just flat out disagree. I am in. I'm going to leave you up on the screen as well, just because we have to enjoy this new, fresh graphic. And I'll get to the comment section here in a second. But
yeah, they're lit up. Shouts to them.
They are. They are. Shout to Sick for helping us out with that once again. With this topic right here, and Dante, because Dante is absolutely crushing both of you guys. And my man, Mr. Man's out here. Man, we got a full house out
Jesus
here.
In the room. Let's go.
Yes. However, Kyle, with this right here, you made some great points, and I am not going to sit here and say that he's a bust. We got to drug test that guy who's sitting here saying that he's a bust.
Shouts to Mark Moses.
Yes. He probably does a great job covering, but on this take and just this take alone, you deserve to be drug tested before talking about it, because this right here is not about being a bust, because he's still contributing on both sides of the ball. The reason why I say that they should force him to play one position is because he's already gotten banged up in college, okay? Not as severe as some of these other players who were top-tier picks and coming out and playing one position. But the fact that he's gotten banged up in college and now in his first year didn't even make it through a complete season, let alone the half. We're right here at this point where we were going to be talking about him getting the Rookie of the Year award. okay, when he came out in the NFL draft. It looks like it's going to be somebody else, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, and somebody who's from my neck of the woods here in Virginia, which I'm excited for him and what he's done. But on this topic alone, Travis Hunter should be in the conversation, but he's not, because he's not on the field and he's not healthy, because he was playing two sides of the ball, which puts a lot more strain on your body than just playing one, okay? Now, he was primed for this when he was playing college football, because he was playing both sides the majority of the game and didn't want to come out. And for his heart and for what he contributes to the team because of being an impact player on both sides, he means a lot. So I'm with you on your argument of that. However, you're getting older now, okay? You are still young, but as you get older, trying to play both sides, it's already strenuous enough because the game in the pros is a lot faster than it is in college. And you know that, and I know that. The tempo is much, much faster. Mm-hmm. With that being said, because of the fact that the tempo is higher and it puts a lot more strain on your body, and it's kind of hard to train for that. I mean, Deion was able to make impacts on both sides in the 90s with the rougher style of the game, but he wasn't playing the amount of snaps on either side combined when you look at how he was playing offense and defense. Because of that, even though the game is a lot more pacified in today's game, and you have a lot, and I could have said something else.
I know that's why I circled. That was beautiful. Well done.
Thank you. I prepared for you. I prepared for you even harder now than I did the last 16 times, because it had been quite some time, and we were here to rock and roll tonight, regardless of what premonitions were before we showed up. But with this topic alone, because of the strain and the wear and tear, and you want to get max value for his contract while he's a rookie and actually have him play all 17 games in a season, you need to figure out where he's going to be more impactful at, in my opinion, is defense. But that's the job of the head coach that's over there by you, sitting right beside you, that likes to say, Duval. Yeah, Duval. So Captain Duval needs to figure it out. And I say, keep the man on defense. Stop playing around so many games. Make it a special situation, like the games on the line or leading up to that later in the third and fourth quarter. Don't have him out there in the first and the second quarter in several different plays. Pace him out throughout the game, each and every game, if you want to actually, one, get to the playoffs with him, and two, go on a run with him at some point while you have him on the cheap. Because once he finishes year 3 and year 4, if he stays healthy, he's going to be getting paid just like the other high impact players. And even though he wants to play both sides, not to a degree of selfishness, because he is very talented, but I think that the coaching staff and the team needs to be selfish with keeping him on the field for all 17 games in the season, plus a playoff run, rather than trying to make big impacts during each and every game by trying to showcase him on both sides of the ball all the time.
Drew, listen, first of all, I once again, you prove once again hosting this show that you aren't just great at hosting and video design. You are great at putting together a cogent point. However, into my trap you have fallen. You have neglected to account for the fact that he is in fact playing fewer places in college. You said he played two sides of the ball, but Kyle is only two halves. But there's a third. He also played special teams in college, a thing he hasn't taken a single snap with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are elite in special teams, but not only Madman Cam Little and locker punting your favorite Jaguar player, Parker Washington, with already a couple punt returns for touchdowns on the season. So already he's down a significant number of snaps over and above. And please give the great Liam Cohen and also Anthony Campanelli and their offensive coaching staff as a whole a little bit of credit for getting this dude up to speed, with one other thing in mind. The opponent often determines where he gets more or less snaps. It's true positionless gold thus far in the early portion of Travis Hunter's career. If you'll notice, he played significantly more snaps against the team that is very poor on defense and very, shall we say, volatile on offense in the Cincinnati Bengals. And if it weren't for one of the worst officiated calls I've seen this season involving Jacksonville Jaguar, we'd be having the conversation supporting your argument about his pass defended, made sure that they won the game against the Bengals. Instead, they blew the call, and then the Jags got beat for the first of a few times, by a backup quarterback. It's a very weird thing with the Jags this season. Fresh off of beating MVP candidate Justin Herbert, they previously lost to Davis Mills. I have no idea. Punchline's this, though. At this time, and I can't stress this enough, while his legs are cheaper, you're utilizing him as a player who could be the best at two different skill positions. If that maintains, then it will get expensive. If he can't make it through a second season playing a higher volume in more than one position, then you've amassed the case where even the champion himself, the Heisman Trophy winner, I should say, champion's a little premature. He hasn't won any rings or anything, but the great legend himself being built as a franchise guy, getting commercials without playing quarterback as a rookie, by the bleeping way. How many times have we seen the ad on YouTube? Let's hear it for the boy. Most people don't even know that damn song, Drew Willingham. What are we talking about over here? Okay? Granted, Trevor Lawrence, in popularity and fame, he's supplanted a quarterback with golden shiny locks. Let him do what he wants for a while. And then when wisdom catches up with him, if he can't make it through a second full season, the chances of convincing future star corner, in our opinion, Travis Hunter, hey, you might want to pull this back because we need you for a full season. And by then, they would have an opportunity to ratchet up, with all due respect, former Commander De'Ami Brown and Brian Thomas Jr. to full-fledged, experienced humans in this offense who could take care of business. One might even think that duo is pretty strange, with a great tight end supporting them in Britton Strange. And by then, you'll have either Bashaw Tootin or Travis Etienne or both with LaQuint Allen. Suddenly, your skill positions are amazing, and we haven't even gotten into the depth of that receiver core, which will inevitably have Travis Hunter playing corner only. Hell, at this point, they need to draft like carnivores and make sure beef finishes this job. But until 2026, you're not convincing him, and it'll be very awkward to put a guy with this high character through the press to demand something of him like that.
Like I fell into your trap, you just fell into mine. You just did. You did, because
I didn't even mention
literally saying that you need Travis Hunter to fill a void until you pick up more talent at wide receiver. Am I correct?
Not just receiver, whichever direction they go. I mean, really, I think player ability will dictate. But for the purpose of your point, I will say yes. Yeah.
That's not his concern. That is Captain Duval's concern of who you're going to put out there to catch said football. Okay. You're going to risk the future, your potential number one or number two star of your team of the future, by putting him in different aspects of the game. He is not Shohei Ohtani of football, Kyle Nash, okay? Shohei Ohtani can pitch and hit in baseball. That is two totally different positions. He is the Babe Ruth of our generation for Major League Baseball. However, Travis Hunter is just a child. He is a children, okay? He is a children of the game of football because he is a rookie. Yes, I said it. He's a children. He's a child,
so
okay?
beautiful.
There's no D. It's just he's a child, okay? He is a child out here in this game of football on the gridiron in the NFL. And you're just going to throw your child to the wolves? You're just going to throw him out there to the wolves. You're talking about maybe even on a rainy Sunday, putting him out there in special teams, go back to his college glory days. No, we cannot do that, Kyle Nash. And yes, I just did put words in your mouth. But you cannot play him on both sides all the time because you're going to risk getting your child hurt again.
I would push back with only this. You don't know if he's Shohei Ohtani yet. We don't have that answer. He still could be. And that's the driving force too. Like I said, but by the way, this isn't me saying you're wrong. You make cogent points. Mine are better, obviously, because I'm the man. But joking aside, seriously, I think the 2026 season, you have to throw the chair out there. The children need their opportunity to get those licks to see if he can be Shohei Ohtani. Because otherwise, how else do you know? And this kid has put up enough film to where they have to find out somehow. And the only one who wants to find out more than the Jacksonville Jaguars is Travis Hunter himself.
Well, Dante agrees with you. He says he's out. Travis can play both sides because he's special and fun to watch.
I mean, the showmanship aspect is clearly there. I touched on that, but again, I think for me, it's because, simply put, he's been the best at two positions right now. This is more about James Gladstone, for those of you that don't know, the GM, needing to build this Jags roster from the hell it's been in the past few years in the Peterson and Trent Baalke regime, who refused to beef up the offensive line in the manner that has happened in just 1 year in Jacksonville.
Mr. Man, Corey Man with two ends up in the house says, I would ask, would Travis be hurting himself by playing two positions, just like when owners would play hardball with paying players to play wide receiver and running back? Like, would they try to force the cheaper rate?
No, and that's a compelling conversation between his agent and the franchise. We've even talked about that a bit on the Duval Dive. And at this time, can you get a great wide receiver at a cornerback price is a fascinating question. One that they will hash out another 3 or 4 years.
He said, I Uno reversed on you.
That was funny. I laughed at that. He had the Yu-Gi-Oh trap card somewhere in there too in the comments. It was funny.
I love that. That's
you revealed my trap card.
That's in top 10 of comments of all time on this show. That is absolutely in the top 10. And I haven't even had a ranking of that, but I know that has to be Uno reverse was absolutely great. As he says, Drew and Kyle, what's good, legends?
You win when Black Jesus calls you a legend. I'm just saying.
From one legend to two others, he's laying it down out here in these streams. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. Dante says the real question is, what else does Jacksonville need? I don't want to see him in the wasted talent category. And that's basically where I'm coming from.
That actually supports my argument too in the same thing. If you don't play him both ways, when they need him there for that contribution, you're wasting the talent as well. Like if you have an opportunity to keep it, to put a player who's best at a position on the field, you have to do it. Like think of it this way: like if Scary Terry is hurt and Travis Hunter's playing for your Commanders, right? Do you keep him on the sideline just because he got the interception on the previous play? That's a tough conundrum, dude.
My point is just, if you put him out there too much and he gets hurt to the point to where it affects his career, or there is no more career moving forward, then wasted talent category fits for this too, because
this is why this question's great. Nobody's wrong here. This is all philosophy at this point.
Absolutely a great way to start the show out as well, because we've been absolutely clicking on all cylinders too.
Set the table for us to kick so much butt. There you go.
Yes. And Corey agrees with that, Dante, with that. That was definitely a great question. Kyle opened the Yu-Gi-Oh trap card.
You revealed my trap card.
And then after that was where he pulled the reverse.
Yeah, that's what the Uno. I can't do the deep Yu-Gi-Oh voice. You revealed my trap card.
I can't right now with this cold. A lot of Vicks Vapor Rub is keeping me locked and loaded right now. He's going to be playing both sides in the NFL. Then the Jags will have to play him on selected downs on either side of the ball.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's happening now.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. And that's kind of how they do it now, 100%. Like I said, against the Bengals, extended snaps at corner because they have the duo with Higgins and Chase in there at receiver. Against the Niners, not there so much because he was way too small to cover their receivers because they were bodying him. It's a whole thing, man.
Yeah, he was getting manhandled that game.
Had a great catch to reverse the field on offense. A significant contribution to the win against the 49ers, who shot themselves in the foot repeatedly in the fourth quarter. Enough about that.
One fire start to this episode for 125. Now that we have the right banner at the top and everything. It started off a little rough, guys, okay? But we're back on track. Let's go ahead and take this one into round two and see what we have in store for that one.
Round 2.
You knew we were going to talk about it, Kyle, at some point. We were going to talk about UK as LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves will lead the LA Lakers to the NBA Finals this season. Kyle, how do you feel about this one? Are you in or are you out on this?
Listen, I mean, I opened with you commenting on my weight. Now I have you commenting on American Idol stars, and like Clay Aiken, I am out.
I clicked it.
I don't know at what point on this show, Drew Willingham, that I was made out to be a LeBron James stan, because it's not the case. MJ's the damn GOAT. How come I end up to continuously defend LeBron James? The best thing about this question, Drew Willingham, is the fact that I finally get to go against LeBron James in a question. And it's really not so much that I'm going against LeBron James as I'm actually going against the LA Lakers, which is actually, now that you mentioned it, a lot easier for me to do. Anyways, with that in mind, listen, it's not that I think the Lakers are irrelevant. Perfectly healthy with the aforementioned trio of Luka Doncic, of Austin Reeves, of LeBron James, if and when he's finally healthy enough, is dangerous. Bottom line, point blank, period, end of story. However, better than a puncher's chance, again, I am out. And just look at the competition they're dealing with, right? SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder, not a bad team. Throwing it out there, okay? The Denver Nuggets, not a bad team. Former MVP on their, Joker running the show. The Houston Rockets, scary compelling, and I don't know what to make of it. Victor Wembanyama is outright rude to Draymond Green. Did you see that clip the other night where he just takes one and goes, chop it up and down? How can you be so rude to a man as angry as Draymond Green? Good gravy. The punchline is, I don't know if any of them are truly finals contenders at this point in the season. And I know a lot of people here in Orlando wanted to sell out because at one point the Magic were 4-6. Well, how those tables have turned, or turns of tables, whatever it is. Punchline's this. At this point, if you think I think the Lakers can make it through a marathon of an NBA season and still have their third man ready to go in the form of LeBron James to make that run through a full playoff season, I don't think he lasts. Your biggest issue, the great and undefeated Father Time.
Kyle Nash, great points. Absolutely great points with this. And I got to disagree one more time. I'm in it. You know why? Because he's going to have that fire in his belly, because right now his son is starting on the Lakers and he is on the G League roster. He is looking at this photo and just getting pissed. All right. Absolutely. Just getting absurdly mad because his son, who absolutely has not been living up to whatever expectations he set for himself, has been playing pretty bad, or at least last year. He's improved a little bit. All right. I'll give him a little bit of flowers. But when you have to think about the fact that your son, who's now in year 2, is starting, and you, for the first time in your career, playing in the G League because your back is hurting. And I don't want to throw any shade at sciatica because it sucks and I deal with it, okay? So I'm not throwing shade at that. The man's in his 40s now. His son's in his 20s. You are a legend. You are supposedly okay. And you're not supposed to be playing in the G League ever. Did Jordan play in the G League? No, he did not, because it didn't exist when he played. But he did not.
Wizards were a G League team. Must be.
For that, you deserve. That was great. That was great. Regardless, LeBron still starts with. It really does start with. You know it, and I know it. Let's get back on track to the reason why I say this. Because of the fact that his son is starting over him, he is in the G League. And there's been so much swirling around the name LeBron James over this summer, and he's going to play for another team. And I've been part of the ones up here talking about the fact that he could potentially get traded before he even returns from sciatica. It wouldn't be a debate show if I agreed with everything you say, even though at some point we're going to agree on something on this show. But if he's going to make one final run, if he's going to try to go for a 5th ring, it's going to happen now. You got Luka, okay, who is a lot bigger of an upgrade than AD. You still won with AD in 2020 in the bubble, and even though I say it was a cheap championship, it was because it was in the bubble, all right? And the Lakers had the season continued and COVID not even happened, there's no way they would have won, all right? With the way the momentum was shifting at that point, they were not the team. The Heat should have definitely been the team to win that year. But this year, LeBron is going to be mad because there's going to be people out there hating on him. He's always used that as fuel to show up. And Luka is a star. And Austin Reeves has had a 50-point game or two, by the way, since they started this
He's a
season,
badass.
right? So he can hold his own out here on the court. Austin Reeves can. Luka can too. This team right now in the Lakers without LeBron hasn't played too terribly bad. But looking at it for what it is, the last time they played was this past Friday. They beat the Pelicans. Pelicans are not that great of a team. They're 2-10, or at least the point they won. The Lakers still are above 500 with a 9-4 record, and that's without LeBron. You get the three of them, the big three of LA at this point, between Luka and AR-15, and then, of course, he's got his golden boy son on the bench, little Bronny, who's the starter right now, who's ready to take the reins when Pops retires. He's going to stand in there and get ready to play. That's what Bronny's going to do when Pops finally retires. He's going to take over and be Yo King 2.0. Psych. I don't mean that. But what I do mean is if he's going to do it at any point in this latter part of the career, it's going to happen now because he's mad at being in the G League and his son is starting. Fuel for the fire, Kyle Nash. You don't know it, but I do.
I don't know that I don't know it. And goodness knows if you believed in this Laker team to do that, you said all the correct reasons for doing it. Side note, if LeBron James is Batman, I too believe that Bronny is a member of the Wayne family, like Batman was Bruce Wayne. He's Damian Wayne because he's just set up to be Robin for Luka Doncic, okay? And then Austin Reeves over here is Nightwing. I see what's forming out there in LA. That's fine. The G League thing, I mean, listen, when you older and you're recovering, sometimes you need to warm up a little bit. Yeah, listen, I'm with you. I'm with you, Corey. Okay, we agree on this. We have the trifecta, or not the trifecta. Sorry, you disagreed with me. I'm still confused by that, but that's okay. But see, I have the divine intervention, the divine validation. The Black Jesus even says that the Lakers aren't going to happen.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, to the no.
See him singing that right now.
Preaching it at the church. What more do you expect here at this point?
As we have more comments out here, he says, that man got sciatica in his cheeks. Pause. He need to hit up a certain quarterback in Cleveland to find the best to keep him going through the rest of the season.
What does Dylan Gabriel have to do with any of this?
Oh, he's talking about Deshaun Watson and the towel.
Oh. See, this is me trying to be silly. It did not work.
I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about is Deshaun Watson and the
Shador
massage.
Sanders, as much as we've been talking about Bronny and children and stuff. I didn't think it was Shador, right?
He did get some playing time today, but unfortunately, he did not live up to the expectations as the Ravens won that game. So we'll see how it goes for him next week if Gabriel is out and he gets a full game to actually showcase his talents. He need Nurse Jenny from Pokemon to heal him. She's undefeated.
I mean, her healing got nothing to do with why she's undefeated. Pause.
Ooh. Ouch. Kyle Nash. Actually, you know what? I think I even have that for Kyle Nash out here in these streams. You know what? I have. There it is. Got it. Dante says, I'm out like I'm outside the NBA is too boring. I think the NBA needs King James before the WNBA takeover.
Well, let's put it this way. The WNBA needs to learn how to treat their star player better and not have her get racked every game by the officials. But nobody's talking about that like they should be. I digress.
There's a lot of arguments we can make for the WNBA beyond that, but I digress. We may have to bring that up the next time when Rob Johnson actually knows a lot about WNBA. That may be one of our topics. Yeah, we may have to.
That may be one where it beats me. I'll be real. I'm going into that one at a disadvantage if it's WNBA. Shouts to Rob Johnson.
We may have to throw that in there because it's always good to hear Rob Johnson go off, and he would go off on the WNBA topic as Corey is laughing hysterically with what you said about the Pokemon lady and probably Deshaun Watson.
I mean, Pause.
Absolute greatness out here in these streams. But before we go to round 3, we do have some breaking news, Colin. And that breaking news is this. Next Sunday, same time, we'll have a Trios edition as two-time Vault of Fame inductee Ryan McCarthy rejoins us. And Dustin Henry, who is a one-time Vault of Fame inductee, will be here next Sunday night for the In or Out Sports Debate episode 126, 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. I got that one right with the 126. We will be live again 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. But Kyle Nash is here for this one.
That trio is an epic matchup, Drew, and I'm going to lead with this, though. The biggest surprise for me, the lack of hair in the promo from you, Drew Willingham.
The lack of hair, it's the same situation as this right here, where it's pulled back. I still got it. I haven't cut it yet. I'm enjoying not paying for haircuts.
First of all, it's very efficient by you. Second, nonetheless, a less haired promo is an adjustment for me. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, you got to switch it up every now and then. I may or may not have the hair down, but for Kyle Nash, I had to look professional tonight, and that's why it is pulled back with a collared Sartoba shirt on, rocking and rolling for Kyle Nash. He's the professional. I'm just trying to be a professional. And he's even got his own Student of the Game t-shirt, which
that's all it is.
I miss that show. I miss it so much. Hopefully it comes back one day because some great schooling in multiple areas of sports. But right now, Kyle Nash is absolutely crushing it with the Duval Dive. With that being said, we do have more topics to go to and one more before our one and only commercial break. Let's take it on into round 3.
Round 3.
It's hoodie time with Bill Belichick, and he will be the head coach of the New York Giants in 2026. Kyle Nash, graphic and all. I know you like that one.
That's a great graphic, dude. I mean, the montage of the Belichick is fantastic. I'm not fronting.
The hoodie from start to literally his finish in the NFL.
Thanks.
With that being said, will he undo himself from the said finish and come back and be the Giants coach next year, or will he not? Are you in or out?
Well, like Tom Brady throwing a final pass of his existence with a team in the playoffs, I'm out. Let's be honest here. Tom Brady ending his career as a Patriot with an interception is a great reason to make a joke. It's almost as funny as the fact that UCF myrtleized him in their third game, crushing the Tar Heels of North Carolina. Good gravy. At one point, I was quoting that saying that game could mark the important moment of whether or not the UCF Knights make it to a bowl game. More on that later. But yeah. The embarrassing outing with the Tar Heels. Hey, listen, at least all the jokes about his girlfriend tells me he has a happy home waiting for him. That all being said, will the Giants even call Bill Belichick at this point? I'm thinking not, right? This is a dude who is openly petty. If he has any issue with how ways were parted from the Giants organization, this isn't going to happen. Do I even believe that the Giants think that Bill Belichick, according to South Park, is still even going to be on the short list of people that the New York Giants, again, I'm thinking probably not. There's a higher chance that Jags offensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli's on the list before he is as defensive inductees. I said what I said. But Yeah, no, I at this point, the product is tainted. The water is just not flowing like it does out of that Gatorade jar from Lawrence Taylor. You have to be on more cocaine than Lawrence Taylor was in those 80s to think that Bill Belichick is actually going to be a giant again in New York.
I can't even argue this, man. I'm out. I almost tried for the sake of debate, and I just couldn't. I couldn't. The best thing about this topic is going to be the graphic, because it will convince somebody that he may or may not be going. But I agree with you. Even though his year in UNC has been tough to watch, okay, between the drama with the girlfriend and just the overall play of the team, like another team we're going to talk about here in a little bit, they're 4-6. Okay, they could surprise us and win 2 games and make a bowl run. I doubt it. No, they're not going to. But they still potentially mathematically aren't eliminated from that yet. But if that happens, he's definitely not leaving UNC. If he loses the next 2 games, I could see potentially him trying to get out early and maybe try to interview for NFL teams. But we already saw the lack of interest with Bill Belichick before he even came to UNC with his year off. And he did throw his name out there as potentially interested in some other teams, and nobody was taking him. Yes, he had a few interviews, but it wasn't real serious, and nobody took him last season or before he even made the decision to go to UNC and try his hand at college football. I don't see it being a possibility that now 2 years later from the time that he was starting to look for another team, that they're going to be more interested in a guy who's in his 70s, who it already looked like a stretch for Pete Carroll, who's in his 70s, to get a head coaching job in Las Vegas. I mean, it is what it is.
Going, by the way.
Exactly. So you see that players who will be literally 50 years his junior, all right? So there are respectful kids out there, and there's a lot of kids nowadays that aren't as receptive to the older generation as far as 70s, 80s, and beyond. They want to hear more from the unks, the ones who are late 30s, 40s, 50s, and ones that are closer to their generation and age, who can kind of relate to them more, and especially ones who played the game. That's why you see like Mike Vrabel has done a great job taking over in New England, formerly Bill Belichick's team, and because of his impact to the game as a player and the way he had the experience with coaching in Tennessee, he's doing a much better job than Gerard Mayo was doing last year. And before that, Bill Belichick had the team, and we already saw the dumpster fire that it became once Tom Brady left the team, right? I mean, it's true. Like from Cam Newton to Mac Jones, we had absolute dumpster fire situations with that team. And you have a team in the New York Giants. You have Scatterboo, you have Neighbors, you have Jackson Dart, and others on the other side of the ball in defense, that you're stronger minded on defense, but who are you going to bring to help coach the offense? Because McDaniels looks like he's locked into New England, regardless of what happens this season, because one, I don't see him getting another head coaching job anytime soon. It's not like he can bring him over to New York to be his offensive guy, and he needs a strong offensive guy. Unless you get Nick Saban out of retirement, which I highly doubt he's going to want to unretire and then coach in the pros as an offensive coordinator, because he's enjoying himself as an analyst and just being outside the game, probably making as much money as he did inside the game with what he's doing. I don't see a lot of viable options for Bill, people that can work well with him inside the game, because people aren't working well with him inside the game of college football right now, right? Yeah. You got 6 losses. You have not been playing well. And even though you still are mathematically in the running for a bowl game, you got destroyed by Wake Forest yesterday. The week before that, you did beat Stanford, but it's Stanford, guys. And you beat Syracuse, but it's Syracuse. And you came close to number 19, Virginia. That's probably the best game that he's had as a coach in college all year, was how close it was with Virginia. The sad thing is Virginia wasn't even at their level of play on that day, which is why they won in the manner in which they did by only 1 point. So with all that being said, all I can do is support you and your take with this, Kyle, because you absolutely hit it on the head. New York in the media is way worse than any other team in the NFL, whether you're with the Jets or you're with the Giants. You're going to get decimated. And he's already a person who doesn't like to answer questions anyway. All right. He's been more personable and relatable being in college since he had that 1 year as an analyst. However, I'm willing to bet if he did go back to the NFL, he would have a situation where he would revert back to Belichick of the Patriots with how he would answer questions. And then he would be enemy number one in New York. And just like they were treating Dayball for the last 2 or 3 years, they're going to treat him in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the regular season if you start 0-2, 0-3, and there's no end in sight for any type of positive play for the team. I don't see any of that happening because I don't see him as the head coach of the New York Giants like yourself.
And I don't see him relinquishing any power in that scenario either. The only way this gets valid is if he was able to relinquish GM powers, and that's just not happening either. Even colleges need GMs nowadays too, as you see starting to happen in those ranks, which is a whole other question. But the punchline being, yeah, he would need to give up something to start with, and I think that's a non sequitur to all the other points currently made here on In or Out.
The only way I see it happening is, you know how Brian Daboll was dismissed and he sent those like letters to everybody and held some meetings right at the very end. The only way I see this working if Bill Belichick comes in is if he can bring Daboll in as the offensive coordinator. And it's not unheard of because look at what Joseph's done with the Broncos as their defensive coordinator since he was the head coach and came back as the defensive coordinator. It's worked out for that team, although many years, there was like a few years in between of his dismissal from the Broncos to coming back as a coordinator. I don't think it's going to happen like 6 months later after being fired as the head coach. However, he was very humble with how he left. We already know his strong suits as an offensive mind. They had some flashes. He really likes working with those young players and would be humble enough to come in and do it. I just don't think it's going to happen with Bill Belichick leading the way because he'll probably be on a short leash with Bill Belichick because of the fact that he was just let go as the head coach, if that scenario even worked out at all.
Hey, you know what? He could bring in Brian Kelly as an offensive guy. He's great with the media, right, Drew?
Ooh, how Nash spitting out fire.
Say what again? Say what again?
And I shouldn't say that. I've had great experiences with Brian Kelly. I should not talk that trash.
He'll come up there saying,
Let me talk to you.
and then drop some dimes is what he would do as the coordinator speaking.
I wouldn't even be mad at it.
He said, that ain't Drew in that render, Kyle. That's Drew Quan.
I believe that is a Napoleon Dynamite reference to Kip at the end of the movie, and I embrace that. Well done, sir. Well done.
LaFonda?
Exactly. Like
no.
That's when Kip takes up his new Drew Quan is the name he takes up afterwards. I think that's a thing.
Huh. Interesting. I did not know that. I've watched it, but I don't recall that. I just remember LaFonda.
LaFonda was special. Like, darn it, those nails were fantastic. Anyway.
Bill Bellastop. Somebody pull up a rocking chair in coaching terms. Tell Belichick to look at the flowers, take his coaching career, and old yeller it. It's over.
Old yeller it. Damn.
Oh.
Ouch.
You might as well bring back Bruce for this one.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
You got smited by Black Jesus, Bill Belichick. Good God.
I was not this though.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I knew it was coming some way, shape, or form because he still feels some type of way about how the Falcons lost that Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, if Devontae Freeman could block and, not force the fumble that changed the course of the game, but we don't have to talk about that right now.
Good point. Very good point. As Dante comes in with, I'm out, James Franklin, Brian Kelly, then there Marcus Freeman, and so many more candidates. Okay.
I mean, it's interesting you mentioned Marcus Freeman, Dante, but here's the thing. Notre Dame will pay better than any NFL job. You're out of your mind if you think they're letting Freeman go at this point.
The smoke. We want the smoke. All right. I'm not smoking, but I want the smoke. All right. Right here now, 3 rounds in, Kyle Nash and I have gone back and forth with some great topics. He said all they had to do was run the damn ball. And he's fuming, yes, because he wanted that championship. Matt Ryan should be a Super Bowl champion. Tom Brady should only have 6. And then Bill Belichick would only have 7. But hey, with that being said, we got a lot of great things to cover here. Still in this show, we're going to take one quick commercial break for a couple minutes. But when we come back, we still have round 4 and the final round. And somebody who Bill Belichick missed out on coaching, we're going to talk about here in just a couple rounds. We'll see you guys here in about 2.5 minutes.
Hey, what's good, everybody? This is your boy Corey, host of The Grind, where we talk about all things WWE. You can catch The Grind every single Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on Sertoba Media. And if you're not following Sertoba Media, then what are you doing? Like, share, subscribe. There are many different things that we have available on Sertoba Media for your viewing pleasure. And I mean, what else you got to do on a Saturday afternoon? Come spend some time with me. Come spend some time with my colleagues on this platform. Help us be able to bring everything that you all want to see. Matter of fact, you know what? If you ain't did it yet, I got something for you. Stay true to what you do. Stay true to why you do. And always stay true to you.
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look. Hey, stop playing games. Y'all already know. Go ahead and toss him some Willie Bucks. Ain't nobody playing around. Hey, $ DWillie87. Go ahead, hit him up on the Cash App, and go ahead and give him some Willie Bucks. Look at Drew looking stoic, ladies and gentlemen. Stoic on that $10 bill. So go ahead, slide my man over some Willie Bucks, and we good. That's all I'm saying. We good. How about some Willie Bucks?
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Do you like talking sports? Do you like entertainment? Do you like the occasional series of heated discussions?
Are you in and out, Drew?
With that said,
Drew, I'm hearing a bunch of stuff in your mind. I know you know this team very well. Are you in and out, my friend?
Then you must see this. Drew Willingham versus random panelists. Who wins? You decide on the In or Out Sports Debate. Live. Whenever the we feel like it. Eastern Standard Time. Exclusively on Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Welcome back to the In or Out Sports Debate, episode 125. We're back whenever the expletive we feel like it out here in these streams. Myself, Drew Willingham, along with the man, myth, and legend, Kyle Nash, are back for 2 more rounds before we send it home and look at the awesome paying of homage that we always get to at the end of the show. But before we get to all that, we still have those 2 rounds to get to, and a team that Kyle knows very well we'll discuss here for round 4.
Round 4.
And here for round 4, the UCF Knights will not play in a bowl game this season. With everything you witnessed this year for this team, Kyle Nash, the changing of quarterbacks, all sorts of different things. What is your thoughts with this one right here? Are you in or you out?
You know, it's going to sound like I'm a sellout here because I'm going to reference EA Sports. I'm in the game. Now, for those of you that follow me regularly on the Black and Gold Banneret and the Night Shift podcast, you'll be like, Kyle, you said they were going to sneak in there with a 6-6 record. And you would be absolutely right. Back in August, I said precisely that. Just like I said, much like Scott Frost said 2 or 3 weeks ago, that this offense will look like 2016, which it has. Here's the thing. They're going to miss making a bowl game, with the absolute slapdown showing that Texas Tech got exactly what they paid for. Drew Willingham, if I told you a college program invested $7 million in their defensive line, including a UCF defensive tackle in Lee Hunter that had one of the most pervasive UCF offensive plays when he roughed the pictured Taven Jackson at quarterback for the 15-yard penalty, that would put you in a very sad space as a UCF fan. And here's the thing, you'd be absolutely right. This offense is not explosive, but that wasn't the issue. The bowl game hopes went out the window when the UCF Knights lost their first space game in the bounce house. Davy Belfort comes in on the final drive, the freshman stepping in there for his first, shall we say, opportunity at real game action. And the young man did his job, moving the Knights down the field. And in true Scott Frost fashion, he was aggressive. He called a play for an end zone shot by the young Davy Belfort, and the receiver was open, and the ball unfortunately came a couple seconds too late. Houston picks the ball off in the end zone, sneaks out of the bounce house with a W. Houston, and by the way, this being the space game with Houston and Orlando, you know they talking that ish about who's got a problem now with Houston, am I right? True. Now officially 9-1 in the space game instead of the 8-1 in the space game instead of the 9-0 that they had hoped to come out with, and thus ends the bowl game opportunity. I know, Drew Willingham, they got OK State without Mike Gundy remaining. They're probably going to win that game. And then they have BYU in Provo. You're telling me that the next best, arguably, team in the Big 12 at home on senior night is going to let the UCF Knights beat them to make it to the bowl? That is just not happening. I am very sorry, my friends. As I said, that bowl hope for the Knights is one play away. And unfortunately, Davy Belfort threw that interception. Listen, I agree with the call on any front. Scott Frost going with Davy Belfort to that last drive. The calling of that play, which helped them win in week 1 against Jacksonville State with a team that was struggling early. And yeah, now it's all out the window, I'm afraid.
Great points by Kyle Nash.
Oh boy.
However, I disagree. I am out. Kyle Nash, you sold me quite some time ago when you said that they were going to finish 6-6. Before this day, quite some time ago, you were in your rocking chair. No, you weren't in a rocking chair, but you sat in a chair on a stream and you said they would finish 6-6. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you just brought it up, I remember it. And right here now, yes, they are facing a depleted team, a coachless team in Oklahoma State for the upcoming game. That should be a gimme game. They should improve to 5-6 after this upcoming week. But I'm going to tell you why they will finish 6-6. Arizona, Kyle Nash. Arizona is not the team they're playing. And you would think, what does that have to do with this game right here? Arizona, Kyle Nash.
You have my attention.
Everything to do with this one, because guess who beat Arizona this year, Kyle Nash? You did. The UCF Knights beat Arizona. Guess who lost to Arizona? BYU lost to Arizona this year, okay? And they lost in overtime. And UCF beat the brakes off of them earlier this year. Yes, they did. They beat them. And they beat them pretty bad. They beat them by a score of Damn it. They did it last year. I looked at the wrong year. Damn it. But it's still Arizona. They still beat Arizona, okay? And BYU lost to Arizona. My point is, whether it was a year ago, whether it was this season or not, Kyle Nash, there's a book. There's a script how to beat BYU because Arizona beat BYU this year. And UCF within the last calendar year and 2 weeks. Year and 2 weeks. It was literally on the 2nd of November last year. Or was it the 4th? I don't know. It was the 2nd of November. Yes, I just looked at it again. On the 2nd of November, a year and 2 weeks ago is when it happened. So you go back, you look at that tape. Even if players are different than they are at this point, you still have how to beat BYU on tape. And if you are UCF, you spend the next few days studying that tape of how to beat BYU because BYU was beaten by said Arizona team a little over a month ago on the 11th of October. That I can confirm happened in this season, Kyle Nash. So you're going to beat Oklahoma. So yes, even though I said in the next few days, you want to watch that tape. Yes, because you're still going to watch tape on Oklahoma State. It's not going to be good because they played absolutely terrible. They're 0-7 in their conference and 1-9 overall. You should wipe the floor with them using some wipes because it's going to be that messy. Clean it up afterwards. You're going to be 5-6. But the best part about this whole thing is BYU is not undefeated this season. They have lost to a team you beat a year and 2 weeks ago. You still did it then, and you can do it again now with BYU suffering the defeat one more time and hurting their chances of making some type of run in this college playoff because UCF can be that team to upset a team known as BYU, who has number 25 Cincinnati, and they should get that win this upcoming week. So they're going to be all on their high horse. Oh, now we got UCF. We're going to beat the brakes off them because they think they're so high and mighty because they beat Oklahoma State. No, they are not going to be that way. They're going to be humble because they want to make a bowl game and live up to Kyle Nash's words from several weeks ago and make the bowl game because they don't want to let Kyle Nash down. They're going to win these next 2 weeks for Kyle Nash and Kyle Nash only.
Well, so I'll give you this much credit. They did not lose to Arizona, but they did take them to double OT, and that matters. I think that's a factor in your assessment of the whole situation. The team that, in fact, crushed BYU was Texas Tech, and I'm seeing the very delusional and foolish friend of ours from the Huddle Up podcast, shouts to Big Jim Nees, talking about how UCF had one job. And that's adorable. But again, I would remind the public out there that UCF is the least fiscally endowed school in the Big 12 in football, and Texas Tech has oil and allegedly cartel money. Allegedly. Again, $7 million for just your defensive line and $1.9 million to former UCF Knight Lee Hunter on his own. It's insane. The only loss BYU has, in fact, is to Texas Tech. And you know what you want more than anything else if you've lost to a team that's competing for a conference championship still, is to get a second crack at a team because the numbers favor you in said championship game. And Drew Willingham, the only way that BYU doesn't get that second crack is if they lose in any of the 2 weeks with a very sneaky and upward crawling Utah Utes team coming behind them. And listen, that doesn't, okay, University of Central Florida, but what are we even talking about? Do you cheer for the ACC? Have you seen some of the frauds in that conference? Let's have that conversation for a minute. Anyways.
Let's just hate on UNC and some more. Dude.
It's not just UNC. I mean, listen, Drake May and the wool he's pulling over the eyes of the world at the hands of Coach.
Go ahead. I know he has two.
I wasn't even going to bring up Sam Howell. Anyways.
I can feel it.
I really wasn't. Come to your senses. I'm releasing that one. Just like I'm not going to bring up Winnie the Pooh host. I'm not doing that tonight, Drew Willingham. Anyways, look it up if you don't know. Anyways, listen, UCF being short of the goal I set for them by a single pass does not make them fraudulent. And UCF fans and their delusionality, if they were expecting from 2017, even Scott Frost in his introductory press conference said, manage your damn expectations, which is to say, pump the brakes. Yeah, no, at Days In, money makes the world go round, and the college football world is no different. For me, I'm waiting for UCF to get Disney, or hey, if they want to be Space U, get SpaceX and Elon Musk involved, somebody to throw some money into the program, because you ain't competing oil money without some help. I'm just throwing it out there.
He said, I'm with Mr. Man. UCF was supposed to take off.
Says who? Apparently you didn't read the Black and Gold Banneret, nor listen to the Night Shift podcast. I did my damnedest to manage expectations.
Oil and cartel money with Billups heading the deal.
This guy gets it. This guy gets it.
Wait, who was in the Big 12 championship if the season ends today?
That would
BYU
be
would.
BYU, correct.
Yeah, they would. But they're going to be upset by UCF in the last game of the season. Why? Because all they have to do is go back and watch the Arizona tape.
Well, in your defense, actually, they may end up resting people because they've already beaten the Utes. So if they have the same record heading into the final week, I will say in your defense, the possibility exists that players might sit. I doubt they'll do it for senior night, but whatever. We'll see what happens.
We will revisit this. And if they win this game against Oklahoma State, I am definitely posting this video of this topic.
Well, Oklahoma State, yeah, I think they'll beat Oklahoma State too. It's the Cougars of BYU where I challenge you, my friend. I
can feel it. Phil Collins said we could feel it coming in the air tonight, and I can too.
I was hoping you'd go with Phil Collins. You're still a champion for Willingham.
Oh, guys, it's been great. We still have one more round to go through here for the final round. And this one, we're going to go back to the NFL for what are we going to talk about? Let's see here now for the final round.
Final round.
Hopewell High School alumni TreVeyon Henderson should be the 2025 NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Kyle Nash, how do you feel about this one? Are you in or are you out on this?
I am out. Okay, Drew Willingham, stop me if you heard this one before, right? Okay. Somewhat mediocre, below average, but good with protection quarterback takes over and does an okay job game managing. And so long as he doesn't lose it for a team, they're competitive with an amazing running game. Yes, I am referencing Mike Vrabel and his time with Ryan Tannehill and Derek the King Henry. I said what I said. Anyway. How that is painful. How do you do that so often? Anyways, with all that being said, of course TreVeyon had success. Is he the Rookie of the Year? I'm not going to go full Bishop Bullwinkle. The case could be made with an aforementioned and very underwhelming Drake May. Even some idiots out there are trying to give me MVP hype for him and not Justin Herbert. Damn. Anyways, the correct answer is in Tampa Bay. Emeka Egbuka, as a receiver, deserves props. Really, let's be honest. If he had a full season, the correct answer would be Cam Scadaboo. What the f- are we talking about right now? Okay. Sorry. I know I wrote and covered a lot of RJ Harvey, but we all know on the story alone, Cam Scadaboo would get that beast. Okay. Let's just throw that out there. That being said, the reason why Egbuka gets the vote for me isn't just that he's been a great receiver, continuing the revitalization of the career of one Baker Mayfield. He's done it by getting big time snaps and opportunities with the injuries to the major receiving core that is there in Tampa Bay. And the fact that he did it dunking on Gonzalez, right? A top young quarter for the aforementioned New England Patriots is kind of what crowns it for me. Dude got over 110 yards. I think it was 115 on Gonzalez in that game. right? Not that it was only one guy covering him, but there was a lot of matchups there where they were out on each other battling off it. So for me, listen, as a guy who think Tampa Bay gets way too much hype, but is doing exactly what I said they would do when Jameis Winston was asked to leave after throwing just as many touchdowns to his own team as the other team. Yeah, give me a Buka for right now, man. There's still plenty of games left. I have a bigger issue with you trying to tell me Drake May's an MVP over Jonathan Taylor or Justin Herbert than I do anything else. Not that you actually said that though, Drew, but anyway.
No, but nice reel back in, Kyle Nash. I love it. But you bring up some really good points, especially with Emeka Egbuka because of the injuries to the receivers over there. But the one thing about Tampa Bay is they have been a solid team since Baker Mayfield came in and, basically was submitted in as Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II retired. Okay. Now, because of that and because of the pieces around him, you got to look at Bucky Irving too. There's been other things that set up the pass. Okay. Set up the receivers, no matter who you got in there. And the Patriots were an absolute dumpster Pelican organization before Vrabel came in there and took over and put some pieces in play. And because of what the rookie's doing over there, when you have other players who are still with the team at the running back position who have been obviously depleted in favor of TreVeyon and what he's done this year, I disagree with you. I am in. Let's compare and contrast the two stats because while you were giving your argument, I looked up the two, and both Egbuka and Henderson have a combined 6 touchdowns each, okay? Because Henderson has 5 rushing and 1 receiving, which what he did this past Thursday helped a lot because he had a very big game this past Thursday night, okay? So half of those touchdowns literally did come in that game. However, when you look at the comparison between the two, there's only like maybe a 60 to 70-yard difference in total yards between the two players, which for coming from a running back position, the fact that you now, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6, 10 games you've played. Both teams have played 10 games at this point. Both players have played. Actually, the Patriots have played 11. So he does have a little bit better numbers than Henderson through 1 less game. I'm just looking at it for what it is when we saw how bad the Patriots offensive line had been playing with Mac Jones, how everything was just not coordinated well at all. They were all looked like they were not in sync on the same play. In 1 year with a new coaching staff makes a difference, but they also brought in new talent on both sides of the ball, some big free agent signs. There's been help around them. The Buccaneers have been pretty consistent since Tom Brady went there in 2020. Since 2020, the team has been consistently pretty good. Okay, we have to look at it. They've had some close years where they were just a little over 500, or in Tom Brady's case, the last year in 2022, they were 8-9. Okay, so they've had some up and downs too, but because of the core of the team is still there, they have great leadership. The team has not completely fell off to the point the Patriots did. Based on what this rookie's doing, a smaller size running back, with that being said too, in TreVeyon, I got to give him the credit because his real coming out party was this past Thursday night, right? People who did not know who he was, like myself and others who are from the 804, like TreVeyon is, like we saw a lot of what he did in Hopewell. Then we paid attention to him going to Ohio State. So, of course, we rooted for him and for this and knew he was fully capable of it. Because Egbuka started this year out pretty hot and has stayed consistent, but hasn't really taken a big dive off. You can feel the rise in each and every Patriots game of TreVeyon getting a little bit better, and they're giving him more and more reps within the offense as a result. And it wasn't until the last 2 weeks or so that they really increased his workload, because you look at what the Patriots have around them. They still have, people from the last year when it comes to the running back position that they're still cycling in and cycling out. Ramondre Stevenson being the big name of that, who's been there for a few years. And right, you can see literally in the past few weeks, Stevenson's carries are getting less and less. And even when he does get them, he's not really going anywhere. TreVeyon's the workhorse now, literally a 3-down back. Ibuka, I mean, he's really good and really talented. I just feel like within the next 4 to 5 weeks, TreVeyon's going to solidify himself as the rookie of the year based on how he's been on the rise over the last few weeks. And had he had the type of reps starting the season that Ibuka did, we could be having a complete different discussion of stats and one being a little bit more lopsided than the other, but they're actually pretty comparable when you look at the playing time one has had over the other. And because of that, I have to bring that argument to the table with your selection in Tampa Bay versus mine in New England.
And here's the thing, though. That's the problem with stats, is they don't tell the complete story. What I would remind the court at large is that the schedule for the Pats is far easier. Okay. We are talking about the fact, I know what you're going to say, but Kyle, the Bucks have to play the Dolphins and the Bills and the Pats and the Jets too. Those are bad teams. And the Pats get to do it twice. That's my point. I'm saying the fraud cons are more significant than playing the Jets or the Dolphins 4 combined times. I'm saying it's far more difficult to face a not quite so injury depleted team in the 49ers and beat them. I think it's a lot more difficult to play the defending Super Bowl champions and a conference runner-up in the Lions as well on your schedule, something the Pats, in fact, don't do. By the way, the Rams' next game, after losing to Buffalo this past weekend, is the LA Rams, who will probably win the NFC West. Let's not forget about that. Oh, did I mention tough teams? The scary good and unexpectedly good Seahawks on the list, as well as one of the top defensive lines in the NFL. And listen, it's just unfortunate for the Seahawks that the Rams exposed Sam Darnold the way they did. 4 interceptions, good gravy. The punchline's this: there's a lot more difficult competition. And the running back position, you have no fewer than 5 guys helping you achieve throughout your life on the field there. With receivers, you are on an island and you have to beat the guy in front of you to get open, and you have fewer opportunities to haul the ball in. I mentioned Gonzalez specifically against the Patriots because that's one of the tougher parts of their defense. Did the Bucs lose the game? Sure. But Ibuka did his job hauling in 115 yards of work. It's those pieces where he was a bigger force on a team with a first place schedule, which the Patriots clearly aren't. that I think gives me the edge. This is why the Rookie of the Year award is more than just stats, right? And let's be honest, if he stayed healthy throughout the season, we make jokes about Scattaboo, but if Jackson stayed healthy the whole time, these morons in the media, the same ones that took the dang comeback player of the year from a guy who died on the field and gave it to Joe Flacco, who's nearing death because he's that old, it would be the same ones that would hand it to Jackson Dart over either of these two and do so foolishly. So I'll put it this way. At days in, because the stat sheet is what it is and because the NFL media in general is lazy with voting for these awards, you'll probably see TreVeyon Henderson win it. I just don't think these are comparable. It's so hard to compare 2 different positions like this when the running back is just such a central element and given an opportunity to take candy from a baby. To the Pats' credit, they are using him late to shut down games against these weaker opponents, which also leads to more opportunities, especially if the Bucs are having a better day too, on the occasions where they're playing a weaker team and dominating them. But there hasn't been a whole lot of domination from the Bucs overall, except against the Saints. So yeah, I don't know what else to add to that.
You make some compelling arguments. My biggest thing is when you're Ibuka walking into a team this past offseason who has had multiple years together for the most part. A lot of those key core players have had many years to develop chemistry, and even their coach has been there for a few years at this point. The Patriots, even though they have an easier schedule to work with throughout this year and some dumpster Pelican teams within their own division that I will add on your behalf with what you were saying, I feel like it's harder to get it going regardless of whatever your schedule is with the team that you just literally formed during the offseason, because a bunch of people were shipped out and a bunch of new people were brought in, whether it be rookies or free agents to this team, including a whole new coaching staff. And, ones that had to prove themselves because they were head coaches other places and got dumped, like, McDaniels in Las Vegas. So there's a lot of things that were riding on the success of the season. And, people did not, and I repeat, did not have the Patriots, regardless of their schedule. They did not have the Patriots at 9-2 at this point in 11 games.
Maybe not.
You know it, and I know it.
There was some people foolish enough out there to say that the Patriots would be a playoff team in the preseason on the strength of that schedule. Just for clarity,
I think they should have been drug tested at that point.
I agree,
because that was literally like playing sports book and like just hopes and dreams, fingers crossed. Like that's what it was, because you nor I at that point, because back then Total Football Talk was still a thing every week, and that we did not talk about that. You were on that show multiple times. I had others on that show very similar to the panelist of here, of how we rotate them in and out, and we were not discussing the Patriots. At best, I think, if I recall, because it's been a while, I want to say at best, I think I might have said 9-8, even with an easy schedule, because of so many new pieces, the new organization. The expectations aren't going to be but so high on them. They're going to try to figure their chemistry out and who is their core for the upcoming seasons. I did not see them at 9-2 at this point through 11 games. And nobody through any of my panels of this show or people there had the audacity to say that within the first 10 games, they were going to be 8-2 before this past week. So, yeah, and winning literally 80% of their games throughout the first 10 games. So because of that, even though you bring up some very solid points with the opponents for the Buccaneers and how they've gotten to this point and how much harder their schedule is, regardless of strength of schedule or not for the Patriots, I have to tip my hat to TreVeyon, who you're coming in competing with somebody who was established as the starter in Ramondre Stevenson. Regardless of how good the team was, you still had to compete. And as the season's gone on, the numbers for Stevenson have declined. And regardless of whether he's playing in garbage time towards the end to put these games away, like you were saying for Henderson, putting these games away against some pretty dumpster Pelican-esque opponents or not, Stevenson still wasn't getting it done through the first 2.5 to 3 quarters of each of these games, which is why his workload has tremendously dropped off. And you've got somebody in Tampa Bay like Cade Otton, right? Tight end over there, who, had he not be making the impact that he's made, not as big as the rookie or not as flashy, I would say, as the rookie in Ibuka, they feed off of each other. When you have a 2-punch at tight ends where one's getting covered and the other one's open, like the other one's double covered, the other one's open, of course you're going to have more opportunities to catch the ball like Ibuka has. So I see your point, but Otton has definitely helped out that offense with being able to spread the ball around, because you have 2 tight ends that you could be throwing to instead of one, where you have the Patriots, who now Stevenson is obviously depleted and is not picking up the numbers as he once was, and you're feeding Henderson in there. It's obvious they've been doing that over the last few weeks because his workload's increased, and they still didn't have an answer for him this past Thursday night. So because of how he has continuously elevated himself up, I got to give it to my 804 guy. He's going to get the Rookie of the Year over Ibuka because he's on the rise.
Listen, I absolutely respect one of my favorite animated characters of all time making an appearance in this episode. Because you are obviously a homer with this take. What are we doing? You went full Simpsons, Homer. Okay. What you said about Ramondre Stevenson, all accurate. But when you lose Mike Evans and no one notices because what you're doing, Ibuka wins. Point blank, end of story.
But there are other receivers that you have, Kyle Nash. There are other receivers. You got Sterling Shepard.
You don't know who Sterling Shepard is. Listen, if you're going to play this argument, you got to go with Chris Godwin. Okay, I got it.
Chris Godwin wasn't even there today.
Oh, interesting. And yet,
Sterling Shepard was the number 1 receiver. Ibuka wasn't. Looking back at last Thursday, he was the number 1 running back and the number 1 receiver, looking at TreVeyon Henderson.
You're not tall enough to reach this far, Drew. What are you doing right now?
Offensive player of the week, definitely. Offensive rookie of the week should definitely go to TreVeyon.
Listen, TreVeyon's a fine pick. If it goes that way, honestly, I will not be mad at it. But I'm just telling you where my vote is. Say what you will. Hey, at least at the end of the day, we both agree that DeMar Hamlin was the comeback player of the year that year.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we definitely agree. We've agreed on a few things on here, but there was a few for the sake of, there was like one or two for the sake of debates. I had to come into this episode strong. It's not fun when they're agreeing on everything. It's not a debate.
I can only imagine the fear in your eyes looking in the mirror, preparing for the show. Oh, man, I got to come up with something good for Kyle Nash on this episode because he's going to be crazy. Oh, my gosh, I got to talk UCF Knights with the guy that's the senior football writer for the Black and Gold Banneret Night Shift podcast. Oh, my gosh, I got to get my game.
Hey, you got to admit, I came in swinging.
You did come in swinging, and your passion was palpable, and I love every minute of it.
I love it. That's what I'm talking about. And so talking about this right here, Dante said right beforehand, my blood pressure is increasing rapidly. What the hell is wrong? Philly dropping passes.
I mean, where's Devontae at for all the, well, not Devontae, excuse me. Where's A.J. Brown at for all the trash he done been talking? That's fascinating. I mean,
you have a 6-0 lead right now. So at least, appreciate that, especially for the Lions fans who've been talking smack all week. I know one of them, and he drinks way too much of his own team's Kool-Aid, even if they are not playing well at all against the opponent. And
what flavor of Kool-Aid would that shade of blue be? I don't even know what to make of that.
Some deep blueberry.
Blueberry. Raspberry is the best I could do, but blueberry maybe. That's a point.
From the 804, indeed, Dante, he is averaging 5 yards a carry when the Pats get in the playoffs. Yeah, not close.
Hey, more members of the Simpsons family. Homer is multiplied. Okay, let's do it.
I'm done. Fire the Eagles offensive coordinator. The dumbest play calling I've ever seen. What the hell? I can legitimately box the hell out of Tree.
I got nothing.
I don't either, because I was going to take it in one or two directions, and one of them is not appropriate for the FCC. He definitely isn't over Ibuka right now, as much as I hate saying it, because his Falcons are in the same division.
I was about to say, in honor of Black Jesus back in my take, I'm going to do a really bad dirty bird. Let's go. Okay.
I tried, guys. I tried my best. Okay, I tried. But, especially when you have someone of the stature of Kyle Nash, who is a 16-time Vault of Fame inductee as of previously to this show, because now it is time to acknowledge the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
That's right. With the In or Out Sports Debate Vault of Fame, it is time to acknowledge that Kyle Nash is 17-time Vault of Fame inductee here with episode 125, locked in the vault with everybody else, and did all this literally within the past 75 episodes. From episode 50 to episode 125, he is a 17-time Vault of Fame inductee. Kyle Nash.
Listen, I'm honored, I'm joyed, and I'm privileged. And listen, as a matter of fact, I am going to renew my calling out of Rob Johnson. We've been climbing up the ladder together. Face me.
They are there. They are there, as Kyle Nash was tied with Rob coming into this episode. Kyle now moves solely into second place behind Joey Raymond for second place. 2 appearances behind Joey here for second place spot. And and I know with every single time we do this show, Kyle, we have to pay homage to the ones before us, including yourself, with the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
I want to take this time to kind of shout you out, Drew. You have taken a concept and made it into a whirlwind of fun for a lot of people. I know for myself, dude, I am proud of you, man. I want you to continue to do what you're doing. But the concept that you came up with, how much you put into it, how much you've changed it, how much you add to it, the work shows, man. So kudos to yourself. Round of applause for you, man. And just wanted to say thank you for having me on again. It was a lot of fun. Look forward to the next one.
Shout out to Drew for letting me come on the show. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, didn't know what to expect coming into this, and I am super happy that I agreed to come on to this because it was a blast, well-produced show. Honestly, extremely impressed by all the effort you put into this show, Drew. Thank you for having me on, and I look forward to coming back on in the future.
Man, you took me back. This is why this show was so important, and this is why I am personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man Drew Willingham, because this has got to be one of the most fun things I've ever done in a long time.
17 episodes down for the legend Kyle Nash, second place all time in the Vault of Fame.
Looking at those stats, by the way, I'm impressed by the fast climb of one Black Jesus himself on the show. It rivals mine. It's not as good as mine, but it rivals mine.
we got to get him back on here. He is on slight hiatus right now from content creation. Hopefully after the holidays, we may see him back here at the start of the year, but we all know how life is. Sometimes you got to adult and stuff. I've been there. I'd take some time off after that documentary. You know it, and I know it. We've discussed it ourselves, and even with Black Jesus, he knows exactly what's going on there. But for the second week in a row, finally back. Big Jim was here last week. You're here this week, starting it off with straight fire. Speaking of fire, we have one more set of fire to bring out and put out here with the final word. Here with the final word, Kyle Nash. Whether it's appropriate or not, we can talk about it now that we've gone through the rounds with the final word. What's on your mind there, brother? Let them hear what you got to say.
First of all, you did a great job tonight playing hurt with the cold and all of that. But what I'm going to do is something I haven't done a long time on this show. I'm going to challenge your production ability. When I cue you at the end, I'm going to need the tribal chief saying, acknowledge me, because the reason is very simple. And it is in fact this. Drew, I don't know if you're aware that one of my earlier podcasts I would do after I recorded the Student of the Game years ago was called the NFL West Recess. Yes, I came up with that name. And as a Niner fan, it felt appropriate for me to talk about that division. And let's be honest, there were plenty of times I picked against the Niners because they were elements of that team that were undisciplined and would oft get penalties. Here's the thing. The saying on that show was battling West Coast bias one show at a time. And here's the thing. West Coast bias is rampant up in this Humpy Bumpy. Why are we not having the conversation for these following individuals? John Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, and Coach of the Year candidate, or should be, Sean McVay.
Acknowledge me.
There's the talent right there. What the hell are we talking about right now? Let's start with Sean McVay, who lost Puka Nacua, and it doesn't matter who's playing at wide receiver, because apparently he still wins football games on offense. If you aren't convinced, well, let me hand you this. What about John Matthew Stafford as an MVP candidate for the aforementioned and the same? Who's the running back for the Rams? You probably don't know, but fine. You want to argue?
Kieran Williams?
Very good. There you go. So that being said, credit to Drew Willingham. This is why he debates me. He's got talent. You don't like that answer either. What if I told you the left tackle was injured before the season? What if I told you their other talented tackle is now out for the season himself? What if I told you that they're getting guards from the Saints and then putting them at left tackle to try to protect this guy after losing both Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton and are still 7-4? Justin Herbert has done fantastic things. Now, granted, the real MVP this year is Jonathan Taylor in Indianapolis. What the hell are we talking about? But the fact that none of you jabronis out there are talking about Justin Herbert as an MVP candidate is insane to me. But Kyle, you're just saying that because you're the producer for the Bold Blitz Uncut. No! I would have said the same thing as a host of the Duval Dive, which I was also. I did both shows today, damn it. It was awkward as hell, going from an absolute low to an absolute high. I don't know what's going on. And then I had this show and still found the energy because Drew Willingham is that good a damn host. Punchline is this. Justin Herbert may not be your tribal chief, but he should still get votes. I said what I said, Drew Willingham. Class.
Well, thank you for the shine for bringing out your greatest of talents at the end of a very long working hard, a very long hard working day. There we go. But right here, I'm still baffled over Travis Hunter is the Shohei Ohtani of football. Okay,
We don't know yet.
but to even put him in the conversation when he hasn't played a full season, Kyle Nash, he is not the Ohtani Shohei of NFL Shohei Ohtani. And yes, I said it backwards and forwards because
I liked it.
you cannot even say, we don't even know yet, because we're not going to know, because he's not going to become. So right here was my final word. I would say that I've had fun with the shenanigery, and whether I said the 5 words for the sake of debate or not, we had one fun show tonight. This has definitely been fun. And in the comments from you guys out here in the chat, and he says, can a viewer join the debate? Well, first of all, viewer, I need to vet it a little bit. So do you have any content that we can watch of you debating? Because I got to know what I'm getting into. I got to make sure you are FCC appropriate and not out here saying the opposite of mother, father, or son of a biscuit.
You can make comments and contribute to the debate. That's definitely
Yeah, and I can bring them up here if they are appropriate. Yeah, the viewer can join the debate with the comments. Yeah, but I'm talking about like video-wise. Drop a link in the comment section down below of your action out here in these streams. You can always email us at sertobamedia@gmail.com, and I'll even put that in the comments for you. You can email us here and send us your work, because the final word, we just speak off the rim. And I'm going to do it right here. sertobamedia@gmail.com. You can see that in the comments. Email your work over to us. We'll be in contact with you. And here in the next couple of weeks, probably work you in if you've got some content for us to look at. Corey says, nah, man, we can't be known as the Dirty Birds right now. Dirty trash. Or is trash already dirty? I don't know, man.
For clarity, I actually referred to your squad as the Fraud Cons. I just merely did an epic Falcon celebration because you supported me. Let's not that deep, bro.
But here on the 16th of November, we had a great time. And Dante says, I miss this show so much. We appreciate that, man, because I've missed having it. Was it almost I brought it back right around the time that I had the documentary come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to take a break for a little bit. Then that was the first time in a year that I had it, because I was doing so much Total Football Talk. So, yeah, this has been fun with you and Big Jim these past 2 weeks. This will be a thing. I can't guarantee it'll be Sunday nights. I'm trying to keep it Sunday nights, but what Kyle knows, what we talked about before the show started in the green room, a lot of the next few weeks of what goes on with that is going to impact where the show fits. But I can at least promise this. I will do one show a week, and this will be it. If I can work the other ones in that I have, I'll do it. But this will be the show, because I have the most fun on this show. And there's a lot more opportunities at Panelists to bring onto this show with this, because we could talk more than just one sport. We can talk a bunch of different sports like tonight: basketball, football, get some baseball up here. Last week, Big Jim and I debated John Cena, and we were both wrong because of what happened this week in WWE. So, yes, we can even talk sports. Both he and I were both wrong.
The host of 3 Count Thursday being proven wrong on a wrestling topic is not a rare thing. And I have to apologize.
No, we were just both wrong. I didn't prove him wrong. We were both wrong.
It's still a rare thing. I know I was chuckling during your monologue there, and I have to apologize. It's not at you. These comments in here about fraud cons made me laugh. I apologize.
Yeah, like Dante came in with the fraud cons. We got Sick coming in with the fraud cons. And Kyle, I can't even send a rebuttal.
Listen, respect for it, man. Respect, dude. I'm not even throwing shade. I'm just telling you how I feel about the fraud cons, man.
But yes, all of you guys have made this even better than what it was. Kyle came in here with the fire, made it great. But with the comments between Corey, who just said, I'm out, fellas, be safe, have a great night. Gonna cry in the car now. But between Dante, Sick Diggy, Ike, who was here for a second, our guy, Mr. Man with 2 N's, and Matthew, who I don't even know who this is, but Matthew 1169 for jumping in here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. If you have not, subscribe to the channel. Be a subscriber to our channel and check out more of what we have out here in these streams. Sick says, it was brilliant of you, student of the game.
Always a privilege to hear from you, especially giving props to the SOTG. I respect it.
Absolutely. As you guys know, as from us to you, thank you for watching episode 125 of the In or Out Sports Debate here on November 16th with myself, Drew Willingham, and Kyle Nash. We've only got one thing left to show you on our way on out, and that is...
Stop it. Get some help.
Nah, not that. You know we don't need any way to stop and get some help.
Yeah.
Maybe I do.
Oh, my brother, testify.
Just remember, beforehand, LeBron starts with...
Ain't nobody care. Who cares? Ain't nobody care.
The one thing that you should care about before we get to the last part is the fact that the Lakers are gonna...
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
They could, Kyle Nash.
Now, that is absurd.
You want me to come back from any of that? I'm sorry. I got nothing. I'm over here going, damn. That's the what? Wait, no, you got me beep up. That's the new graphic.
With all that shenanigery aside, we truly do have one more thing left to look at, and that is one semi-badass outro. With Sick saying, thank you, Rick James, Kyle Nash, 17-time Vault of Fame inductee. To all of you, please stay safe out here in these streets.
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.